So you want to get a higher score on the G7 challenge in Apex, only you are hard stuck hitting in the 70s, 80s, or even the high 90s. I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to get past the 100 mark so you can brag to your friends at recess or whatever. So first things first, if you are comfortable changing your FOV to closer, you can do that in the settings. Making it closer makes it easier to see the targets, but also makes it a bit harder if you plan to flick from target to target. My FOV is usually set between 100 and 104. When you are doing this challenge and you aren't exactly amazing at the game like those psycho pro players flicking constantly, you kind of have to compensate with a bit of strategy. The challenge is simple. You have 60 seconds, hit as many targets as you can. If you want to hit 100 realistically, you have to be at 50 by the time 30 seconds rolls around. So here's a few big game changer tips. First, reload before your magazine is empty. The reloading animation is shorter than if you completely empty it. If you listen closely, the G7 gives an audio cue for this. Once you hear the ding, reload and keep shooting. This challenge rewards panic reloading, but be careful. If you reload multiple times, you have 5 or 6 bullets left, you are hurting yourself more than helping. Number 2, the beginning of the challenge is RNG about which targets will flip. So if you shoot that first target and the back ones pop up, you might as well restart the challenge. I find it easier when the first couple targets are relatively all closer. Slide forward for a quick reset rather than waiting for the long end screen. Number 3, practice until you manage to hit at least 15 targets before the first 10 seconds go by. This means you can realistically hit 15 targets every 10 seconds. This puts you at 90 hits for the full 60 seconds if you manage to keep that pace. Number 4, every miss you have is another target you could have hit, so if you are off to a really bad start, it is okay to reset. But don't be too discouraged if you see that you are in the 80s with 15 seconds left. Remember, we can realistically hit 15 targets in 10 seconds, with a whopping whole 5 seconds to make up for the rest. You can go ultra fast at this, but you can also be super methodical about it. It doesn't really matter. Here I went through this the way I feel like someone would normally do so, being very careful about all my shots, and next to me is just me doing it. When I first started this challenge, I was having trouble getting past the upper 80s or 90s, but when I use these tips and tricks, I can consistently get above 100 now.